Right, let's talk about something strange. So I had a recent comment on one of the videos uploaded recently, and this person said it was on materialism and the kind of debauchery of the self and the soul and authenticity and all this stuff with the continuous consumption in which humanity is partaking in with crap and like just material rubbish and stuff like this, of modernity and modernism and its mundanity and all that type of stuff. And then he said extremism or materialistic extremism leads to extreme cannibalism. And I thought this was interesting because I was like thinking like, how did he make this association? And then it's true, because we have to see these things and perceive them in different ways. We can't just look at one thing in a certain way, like cannibalism, or that's in the physical realm, you're physically, cannibalizing and all this type of stuff. But really, it's a mental form of spiritual cannibalism. And there's a few reasons for this. I mean, for example, what happens, we can even see it in a structural sense. We kind of like structure the way in which we have like the persona, the ego, the self, the internal self of our true authenticity and vulnerability and all of this. But what is materialism and consumerism doing? What is it doing? It's inverting everything. So for example, we're through the process of consuming, through the process of living in a materialistic society, which is based on the persona and the ego. Through those consumptive processes, which only occupy the existence of the persona and the ego, in a sense, sacrifice the self. Sacrifice the thing which is deeper within us, the self being in, with what Jung said was the place of the mandala, the entirety of everything. What makes man so divine, his creative potential, his truth, his association with the transcendent. This is the self. Authenticity, all of this type of stuff. That's where it comes from. But the persona, for example, and the ego in a sense is more so the persona maintained with a kind of surface level attention, where we want to fulfill these surface level materialistic assumptions in which society has on us and all of these things. And this is kind of the situation, is that the more attention or the more the value system tilts to materialism, tilts to the process of consuming and consumption, the more we pay attention to these dynamics of the psyche, and thus who we see ourselves as, which is these walking personas of shell-like identity. It's just nothingness, really. Or ego. Egos walking around, bobbleheads, personas. A lacking of authenticity. A lacking of dignity, individuality, self-respect. An increase in maybe cowardice or conformity to the mass image of what we should do in a society. All of this type of stuff increases in numbers. More people become conforming, more people become less interesting, if you will, or less daring through the communications with others and all this type of stuff. And thus we cannibalize our higher selves, which is still laying dormant within the unconscious. Thus we get this kind of thing of spiritual cannibalism, not physical cannibalism. Well, even though that's kind of a thing, really the Soylent Green is coming kind of vibe with the whole, we're gonna eat bugs and then we're gonna be eating these other things, and then there's these weird laws that have been put into place with like fertilizers or something in like Oregon, I can't even remember, in like America. look into it. He's like, I don't want to look into it. It's creepy as fuck. But but then you get this kind of situation. But then even with consumerism, you do maybe even get to that point as well, where what are you consuming for? What are you trying to attain? You're trying to attain something, with the belief. If you believe in the fact that you will be fulfilled through consumerism, then you will never be fulfilled, and you will consistently try to attain this sense of fulfillment. Right? Thus we get to the mimetic complex of the mukbang. Now that's some creepy shit. If you want to look into something that creeped the fuck out of me when I looked into this, mukbang. It's so disturbing because it's like a psychosis of what I'm saying, like spiritual cannibalism. It's literally these people online eating as much as possible for people to be, and then like all these people are watching these videos of, there's this one guy, he's like, I saw the animation, some guy made the kind of animation which actually in a sense better illustrated the mythology behind, or the archetypal energies in which this person sadly embodies. And he's regarded as like the king of mukbang, and he like eats all this food and people like watch him on YouTube, and he's destroying himself, and it relates, and this is the outcome of consumerism, consumer society. You've got a guy eating food so much to the point where he's basically going to kill himself, and then you've got people watching it, consuming the videos for like unconsciously, because I guess these people don't even know really why they're watching this shit. Like if you ask them, why are you watching this? You get some sort of pleasure out of watching this dude eat all this food. It's like you like it, like it's some sort of fetish. And there's millions of people watching these videos. But like literally this dude is like killing himself eating all this food. And I can't remember his name, you can look it up. It's really disturbing. You look at the channel and then the thumbnails it's quite psychotic. Well, it is a psychosis, because this is what it is. It's spiritual cannibalism. He's destroying himself in the process, and this is probably the perfect mimetic example of this, because he in the process is destroying his inner child by doing this. And mythologically speaking, archetypically speaking, when we look at narratives, mythos, we get Cronus, we get Moloch, we get Mammon. And within these narratives of sacrificial processes in which these gods have, Moloch is given a child. A child is sacrificed to Moloch. Thus, from an interpersonal level, from this individual's psyche, you could see it as well, he's sacrificing his inner child. Also, for this attainment of wealth, in which these Israelites would have also done, like to attain wealth from the gods, or to attain wealth from a particular god based in materialism and matter, to attain money, mammon, all of this type of stuff. And this individual's doing the same thing. He is mimetically destroying his inner child, his inner potential, which is why it's spiritual cannibalism, because he's getting this spirit and he's destroying it. And that's it. That's what he's doing. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And that is the extreme state of modernity, is that the kind of dormant, degenerate values of modernity has gotten to this point where this is what is produced, and this is what is given the most value, because so many people are giving so much attention to it. Millions of views, thousands of people are watching these videos, and thousands of people are subscribed to this individual, and this is what people want to give attention to, because it is part of their value system. Whatever reason why they're watching this, I have no idea. I'd presume it's Because when you get to a state of consumerism to such an extent where it becomes cannibalistic spiritually, you start to destroy yourself, as this individual is doing, but then everything else is inverted. People don't really know why they're watching this. They'll be like, oh, well, I find it entertaining. What do you mean by that? You find it entertaining? Or it's relaxing on my ears. It's like ASMR, like the ASMR thing, which is kind of strange as well. And then, why is that? And then you've also got people who watch these things because they kind of get some fetish out of it as well. So it's a form, it's a kind of psychotic drive. And it's just creepy as fuck. It's so creepy. But that's kind of the state of modernity. Is you get this strange mimetic process of mukbang, which is what it's called. It's literally a culture that has developed, an online digital culture called mukbang, where it's people eating food for no reason whatsoever except for the attainment of views, which is, wealth. So the attainment of money. So it's a sacrificial process of the spirit, destroying the spirit, allowing it to be consumed, and their spirit being consumed. And this individual, who I'll put in the thumbnail, you'll probably know who I'm talking about, is the mimetic mythological example of what this individual is doing. These things aren't arbitrary. There's archetypal energies within everything, and everything is an emanation of different things. Energy transfers in different ways. Archetypes. Perennialism. There's categories to the world we live in, to the structure of our reality. And this is one example of this. It's a kind of Cronus, Saturn Mammon thing, where this individual is sacrificing their inner child, in which these individuals would have also sacrificed the child to attain wealth. And thus, that is what this individual is doing. And that is the narrative of their life. And it is horrible, it's disgusting, and it's sad. It's so sad to see something like that. But it's sad, I have no sympathy. These people have decisions. They have their own decisions to make, but that is what it is, and I thought I'd just make a quick video on it, because that comment inspired me to think up this idea of spiritual cannibalism. Where does materialism go? To what extent does it do? And how does it affect the human condition? So thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you in the next video.